Hello, good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to always sit here with you and talk with you about health and the unwinding road to the world of Wellville. You know, there's just so much there. And yesterday I did a quick video on this controversy on the Facebook and the young lady that just can't seem to relax and let this mind relax, you know, so it's just chattering. And so there's all endless questions and things, and it's like there's almost 800 videos here for any of you that want to go back and review and review and review, and some of you have done a lot of that, and I appreciate that, because once you understand it, you'll see what we've discovered after 40 years of intense detoxification on a lot of human bodies. So opinions are cool if you've done that. If you've seen 100, 200, 300,000 people and you've had the success we have, then we can talk, and it'll be worth the conversation. Outside of that, most of these conversations are, you know, opinions of people, and especially the lad that went off of a mainly, I mean, who knows what he was eating, but a mainly vegan diet into an extreme diet. Now, I've seen this a lot of times where people just go way over the deep end. The problem with all the raw milks and all the eggs and all the colostrums, I've had way too much experience with those things, and I already tell you where he's going. It just, no one's free from those things. And I think this is a very important lesson. So these people do serve up very important lessons for everyone in terms of understanding raw foods and the journey from where Homo sapiens are right now and their health issues. How did they get there? Eating the diet that young man's going back and eating right now. That's how we got here. Eating those kind of foods brought Homo sapiens here. That's going back and putting the Homo sapien as a major omnivore. And it's just, there's no proof to that. There's no realistic common sense or scientific evidence. We're eating that way, but there's nothing in the body to show that we're designed that way. So that's part of the problem. The other thing, of course, and I want to get into foods today. To be honest with you, I'll try to cover a couple of your questions, but I think we need to cover some foods. We've never really done that per se, and really important. But I want you to think about a magician for a minute. There's a magician, and he's getting you to look over here, right? He's getting you to look over here while he's doing his thing, but over here is where the real workings are, where the truth is, where what's reality, how the setup is to the trick. And so we always look over here, and that's just what this was about. We always blame the raw foods for the problems. We always blame the fruit. We always blame the foods for doing it. That's the magician looking over here. So we're blaming the foods. What we don't understand is the human body. What we don't understand is toxicity, acidosis, the lymph system, and what type of diet does it really take to clean this system out. This is where the problems lie, not in playing the diet. Oh, this diet didn't work for me. I need to go over and get back to the paleo diet, or this, I need to eat all these gallons of raw milk and cream and butter and all this. That's the magician's trick, looking over here, blaming the diet. The reality is within the individual and this gigantic sewer system. It's very difficult, my friends, to move lymph. There's no question. You guys that have tearing this apart, which is the majority of you, which I'm so proud of. I'm proud to be in the company of such beautiful, high spiritual souls as most of you. Just incredible. You guys are really digging in and seeing the reality here. And that's important for you healers, because us healers need to walk together, and understanding these issues are important, and why this guy still had balding, why he's lost his teeth, and they blamed it again over here on the diet. You know, it's a beautiful illusion, but it isn't truth. Truth is much more serious than that, and that is the body's lymphatic system and what acids are doing to you. And on a raw food diet, you're going to get new hair. You're going to get rebuilding of teeth. On the process, you could have some healing crisis that would take some off. There's no question, because remember this, the body always dumps its weaknesses. That's why if you have someone really weak and you have time, go slower, because the detox won't be as extreme. Remember, I told you about my first client who came to me that she lost all her fingernails going from a New York City diet to an ashram in the Bahamas that was eating nothing but fruit and fasting. So that radical change, her body just dumped her fingernail, dumped everything that's weak so it could rebuild it. Common sense. If you're going to rebuild something, you have to tear out that which is which you're trying to replace, whether it's rotten wood or whatever it is. You've got to remove that part of that metal, rusting metal. You've got to clean all of that out of there and get a clear margin, as we say, and then rebuild. And that's exactly what your body does on its very own. And you're giving it the power to do that. Never get caught up in the illusion and lose sight of reality. This is a big, big deal. So let's look at some things here a minute in terms of food sources. You know, again, this is detoxification. And somehow the fruit understanding and the fasting got lost in this barrage of Hippocrates and all these people, cousins, who are teaching against fruits and pumping up the vegetables. That would put us in the line of herbivores. And I think if you sit down realistically and look at herbivores, horses, cows, elephants, rhinoceroses, giraffes, we don't fit into that syndrome at all. We have nothing like those vertebrates. We don't have a gut near the length of that. We don't have the multiple stomachs. We don't have the grinding teeth for the cellulose. There's nothing in the Homo sapien that represents that. And when we go and we think grasses have more nutrition than berries, something's wrong with that, because berries actually have far more nutrition than grass. And yet, you'll get a herbivore chewing down on that grass. Nobody messes with wild stallions unless you have a rope or a gun or something like that. There are some of these animals that are so strong, you better hope they're loving. And of course, most herbivores are loving, of course, because they're not meat eaters. So really want to take a look at that. So let's look at some foods for a minute, okay? So we're talking about meat, you know, meat, healthy, right? Well, when you look at two things, we're going to look at two things when we look at foods. We're going to look at the energetics of a food, which is the electromagnetic energy that's getting produced from all the movement of atoms and the magnetism of this. And then, of course, which reflects its chemistry. And then also we want to look at the chemistry of things. And I'm not going to get high in chemistry of things. Half of it I even forgot by now. But let's look at a simplistic look at some of these foods. Meat. All you have to do is get a knife and cut off a piece of your meat somewhere, cut a piece of your hindquarters, cut a piece of yourself off. That's exactly what meat is. It's a bunch of cells and two fluids. And that holds true with every creature. Bunch of cells and two fluids. And that's what you call healthy. Well, the problem is that as soon as something dies, putrefaction in terms of meat and blood comes setting in. Putrefaction, you can smell that pretty quick. How fast does fish stink when you pull it out of the water? Pretty quick, huh? And we consider that nutritious. We don't, but some people do. What do we got? We got a bunch of amino acids that have become peptides and polypeptides forming proteins. Well, now it's funny how the body has to then re-break that all down to amino acids, doesn't it? Because tissue is formed from proteins or amino acids, right? And amino acids then forms the peptides and polypeptides and then the protein, the meat, the structure. But when we go to eat that structure, what are we eating? We're eating dead tissue. We're eating a structure that's breaking down and rotting. And we like that. The blood, of course, whoo! Ever smell blood? Putrefactive blood? Not good. You ever smell a human dying? Not good. Not good. But we like that. Matter of fact, ask most farmers, most people like aged beef. That's 6 months, not 2 or 3. That's 6 months hanging on the hoof. We just cut off the mold, of course, that which is trying to break it down, because God needs those atoms, of course. And yet we consider that good for you. High phosphorus, high iron, low cal magnesium, the opposite of what we want. If you go back and look at properly raised vegetables and fruits and berries, you will find properly picked ripe. All right, so we'll set that as the foundation. We already know we have crap foods in America. We already know people like Yaz in Thailand are sitting there gorging on some of the best food in the world. Spain having some of the best food. A lot of countries south of France having really good food. America, we've lost our caring for quality of food. I'm sure there's some farmers out there that are participating in that consciousness of quality. But they're a handful probably in the whole spectrum of things, and for some reason Florida seems to not get the good stuff. So here on protein, most people can't just go out and eat raw meat. There's nothing designed on a human that would give you an indication you're a meat eater. You don't have the desire to rip something apart, and matter of fact, unless it's on the Barbie, unless you put some spices or cook the crap out of it or whatever, it doesn't taste good. Now, some people like raw meat, no question. I've seen that. Nasty to me, because this is just putrefaction at its finest. And so we consider that healthy. Well, most fruits and vegetables are 70 to 80% base chemistry. That's your calcium, magnesium, your sodiums, your potassiums, your zincs. These are the alkaline chemistries. And only 20% acid chemistry. The ratio is dominant on the base chemistry side. The ratio of this air on this planet is dominant base, rapidly becoming acidic. And look what's happening. Lung cancer skyrocketing, deterioration of paints and buildings, mutation of fish and frogs just as the rain is pulling these acids into the lakes. When things get over acidic, deterioration and mutation takes place. It's not a brainstorm. It's easy to see that. So you're eating a food and meat predominantly acidic. Well, you don't hit your blood with a pH below 7.4, 7.3, or what's going to happen? The law of homeostasis, where now the body has to rectify that acidosis in a timely manner, or death is imminent. You can't run an acid blood without dying within a few minutes. Remember that. So when you eat a lot of high proteins, you're acidifying the blood. Well, see you later. Body has to find alkaline chemistry, base chemistry, and of course calcium is the predominant base chemistry of the human body. So it'll steal it out of your connective tissue, out of your bones, because you can't eat a high phosphorus diet and survive well. And yet medical doctors push that. That's the insanity of that particular modality. I mean, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right on down the line and see where the medical modality is living in a world far, far away and just crazy. They're ridiculous. You sit and listen what some of you guys have been through and some of my clients have been through. Most of them. And it's sad. It makes you want to hang your head at the human species and the human intellect to see things that are so stupid, things that are so we allow to happen to other people. And what people do to other people, I think is just atrocious. But we're a high meat eating society, which totally changes the molecular structure of things, totally changes the magnetic resonance of the body. This is why magnetic therapy is so beneficial for you. Because all this is magnetism, all this is pH. Remember, pH affects solutions and affects how everything functions, basically. All these different levels of pHs affect everything. It's amazing, and it's beyond comprehension. We in biochemistry all disagree, remember, and basically work on theories. Well, we don't have to go there because it's easy to see in clinical practice what raw foods do to people. And nowhere are you going to find cooked foods better than raw foods. Only when you're detoxing too rapidly and you want to slow it down or you want the body to stop healing itself, then eat cooked food because it's dead. At least vegetables carry some electromagnetic energy after it's cooked. Meat doesn't carry any. Alive, raw meat is just like you. It's vibrating with lots of energetics. But that rapidly changes as soon as death occurs. And that soul or that consciousness leaves that embodiment, then the body decays. Okay, that's life. Beans. What's healthy about a bean? It's a dormant food. It has high enzyme inhibitors to keep it from sprouting, which creates high phytic acid, which is very antagonistic to calcium, soy being one of the highest phytic acid foods on the planet. It's highly concentrated, very difficult to digest, high sulfur. Everybody has gas on beans. Really nothing nutritious there. Sprout it, and now we can have conversation. But you're back to the plant life. Good for herbivores, but we like that plant to sprout and then bear some fruit, and then that's what we like. It's easier for us. And so, but if you want to argue plants are good to eat, go ahead. I don't really care, tell you the truth. My focus is detoxification. I understand in 20, 30, 40 years you're not going to last long. This guy lasted 5 years on a semi-raw food diet and then went totally the other way. So this does happen. So you can't judge people with that. I don't judge this guy at all. Heck no. But I will say he's jumping way over into the deep end. He's going to hurt himself. Can't do that. You just can't do that. And not with those kind of foods. This whole idea of raw milk. I mean, let's look at milk for a minute. Milk. All right, if you pasteurize it, it's only a few molecules away from plastic. So is that good? Plastic white stuff, goop, mucus? You know, after age 2, remember, after age 2, except for a few Brits, after age 2, most people have lost the enzymes to digest lactose. Lactase is gone. And milk is the most hardest food to digest. After the certain growth stage, protein, high protein and fat type milk isn't conducive to humans. Yes, we can argue goat's milk is a little better for babies than cow's milk. Cow's milk is horrible for humans. But, you know, we're selling it. The raw, now our government's trying to eliminate all raw milk. Well, you need to eliminate all milk because it's all bad for you. There's nothing good about milk, one of the most mucus-forming foods on the planet. And once you start getting tumors building up in your body and a lot of mucus in your sinuses, your head pressure's going crazy, then you can argue with me about milk, and you still want to drink it? You know, and I'll show you. I'll clean your head out, and then I'll give you milk back, and I'll show you clog yourself right back up. Nothing healthy about milk. High fat, butter, raw butter, nothing healthy about high fat. There's nothing healthy at all. You have to have some essential fatty acids, no question about that, just like you have to have some amino acids. Carbon is the main print of humans, not nitrogen, and carbon is sugars. So you can't get around sugars. So you've got your milks, they're worthless. You've got your meats, I mean, they're worthless. I mean, this is unbalanced chemistry. Now, eggs. I've used raw, unfertilized eggs in highly depleted cases before. I have done that. I have. Cooking coagulates everything. So if you're going to argue eggs, then eat them raw. But I can say that any time of high protein, you'll smell your body stink within a quick order eating eggs. Notice how they stink and very putefactive. Raw, yeah, could be some nutrition in there, but is that good? And the flavonoids and all the good stuff you see in fruits, berries, and melons? No, nope, not at all. What else have we got? Breads, grains. Someone argued how grains are healthy for you. What is healthy about a grain? What is a grain? It's a polysaccharide. Now, a polysaccharide is complex sugar. Is there something healthy about complex sugar? Hell, half the people are bitching about sugars in the first place. And then they're eating grains? That's complex sugar. That's a lot of fructose and glucose bonded together. High sugar. What else we got in there? Got a little germ in there. Okay, there might be some healthy things in germ. I used to sell wheat germ a lot in the wheat. But again, fairly dormant, concentrated foods in that respect. We don't give them to animals. Farmers don't give grains to animals unless they want to fatten them up and keep fat on them. Don't need to. You don't need to give corn to horses. They do well on grass. Nobody messes with horses that are eating grass out there. Strong horses are, they can be fearful. These guys are something else. These big ones, these 17 to 19 hand horses are pretty big. Race horses and the big stallions out there. So grains. Nothing healthy about grains. Have people lived on them? Yeah. People have sustained on them. They've had to. But check the difference between grain eaters and raw food eaters. Big, huge difference. And grain eaters look like grain eaters. You know? There's nothing healthy. Acidosis. And again, all the dog food, all the dog manufacturers are trying to put grain-free. Well, why would the grains are so healthy? Why are all the, like Purina and stuff, trying to get away from grains? They're not healthy. And a big reason why America is obese. You know, grains are bad, bad, bad. And they're mostly acidic except for quinoa and maybe millet. You know, you have some alkaline grain, but you still have a complex sugar on your hands. Not overly nutritious, enzyme inhibitors again, phytic acid again, all these other things again. Well, what's left there? Fruits and vegetables and berries and melons. So I hope this helps you to understand that a raw food diet is superior in every single way, in its chemistry and in its physics, in its electromagnetic energies. It is always superior. This is the magic trick. It is your body that's the problem. Because we've been eating diets like that gentleman is eating, with all the milks and all the butters and all the meats and all the eggs, that's how humans got to this level of cell decay. Humans are at the worst level ever seen, no question, but the lymph systems, as you guys, and especially you that really are taking this on and learning with the iridology and everything, you're seeing these lymph systems in people just a total mess. And this is what the gig is. This is the game right now. If you don't get with the rules of the game, you're not going to be able to get well. Patience, endurance, all these things play a role in the unwinding of generations of bad food eating, of cell deterioration, of heavy lymphatic stagnation. We have years of creating this, generations, of thousands of years of creating this. Now, we have to uncreate this. We have to get back to the living presence of life, back to nature, back to some sunshine. Most people don't get into the sun at all. And then all the vitamin D issues. You know, and you get all these issues, man. You got to go out and play with Mother. Go out and play with the Mother, and the Big Mother, the Mother Earth, and have her wrap her arms around you. Enjoy walking in the woods or go on the beach. You know, have fun in that way. Get into raw foods. No one's saying you're going to be a perfect raw foodist, and it doesn't matter. Because it's going to take, you know, a long time to unwind the human misery. A long time. And thank God to you beautiful mothers out there are raising your babies raw. That you are the saviors of the world coming. I can just tell you. Because if we don't turn our children's genetics around, you see what's going on. You never saw St. Jude 15 years ago like this. You never saw all this going on like you have now. The rapid deterioration of the Homo sapiens species. And it occurred from all the milks and the butters and the cheeses and the meats. Not from fruits and berries and melons. That's what we use to get people well. And you know what's funny? We can get anybody well at any level. You might not dig deep enough. Remember, this is the lesson for you Facebook people that are the healers there and you YouTubers. You must dig deep. And this young man that's balding and going this, he hasn't fixed his lymph system, and now he's jumping in the world of reclogging his body even worse. He's going to have to go back and take years to rebuild that if he's not careful. So this is some of the problems that we face here, the unawareness. And blaming fruit and vegetables and berries and melons, that's got to be the problem. I'm losing my teeth and I'm losing my hair. They've got to done it. Now my hair's growing back because I'm eating meats and all that. You're stimulating yourself. These are high stimulants. And you're going to find that you'll reach a plateau, and now the hair's going to rapidly go off the other way. You're going to see the acidosis setting into the body, the congestion building back up in the body. It's just that man does not understand the process and the road to Wellville. And this is what makes you guys right up there top notch. Because you've got to stop and think it out. And those of you, like this one lady where her mind's just chattering, what about this, what about that? Settle down and think it out. Relax. Relax. Every book has a different consciousness to it. Different person writing it. You've got to be able to become stable in your life. This is why I quit reading books. And I'd like to write them more, but I quit reading them because I don't care what anybody else thinks. I've seen living proof in 150,000 people in my life. I've seen it firsthand. I don't need to read about it from somebody else or somebody else's experience. That's one experience out of hundreds of thousands. And you don't know how they did it, how far they went, how far they didn't go. All these other factors. Do not lose focus of truth, which is living foods are always superior to anything else. And we don't have anything on us to show us in eating anything other than fruits, berries, and melons, and maybe some tender greens. No question that man could get away with that and is getting away from that with that. I don't have a problem with it, but why did we invent a juice extractor for? Get rid of the cellulose, didn't we? Because we don't handle cellulose well. Not at all. And so it takes energy and it takes digestive power to deal with this. Well, if you're working with sick people, you don't want their energy to go digestion. One of the questions yesterday was the long distance running, marathon running. And it's not just running, it's swimming, it's everything else. You have more energy when you don't eat than when you eat, if you hadn't noticed. Except for those that have extreme adrenal fatigue, I agree that you've got to get some magnetic energy from outside sources because your recharging battery, the adrenal glands, are down. And it's not keeping your nervous system charged up. That's neurotransmitters out of the medulla of the adrenal glands. So I'm trying to educate and bring us all along here so you guys don't get caught up in the smokescreen, the illusion. Oh, it's the diet, it's the fruits, and it's the fruits that are doing this. It's the berries and melons that's doing it. It's the vegetables. I need to go over here and go back into the paleo diet. Or I need to go back in here and eat a lot of meat and stuff like that. You might need to for this. It's all about your consciousness. It really is. It's all about your state of consciousness and what you believe in, what you accept. All of that. That's why people that tear into this and understand this, they don't have the problems. Those people that go, well, you know, they walk with doubt. They walk with controversy. Don't walk with doubt or controversy. Walk with knowingness. Truth is a simple knowingness of what is and what is reality. Look into the mother. Look into the earth. That's the largest laboratory we have. That's reality. That's what's going on here. Not what man thinks, not what scientists think, not what biochemists think, not what UCLA thinks. These guys are lost in worlds beyond. They have no clue of simple reality anymore. So keep yourselves, strong in that way, because you're going to be fighting a lot of this around the world, and all these governments and all these people have been so brainwashed. People are herd cattle. And they've been herded down a road that the World Health Organization wants you to be herded down, like the World Bank's herding us all down the road they want us to monetarily. And we're walking down accepting everything they're doing. They're manipulating everything. They're making all these crises happen, let me tell you. And they've slammed people in debt. They love that. They're making all these crises happen, let me tell you. And they've slammed people in debt. They love that. So we have to pull back, because spirituality, it's time to blossom and grow spiritually. It's time to share the love with each of us and to relax over this diet thing. There's some people that come into this that haven't come into this that just can't get it. Their minds are racing 1,000,000 miles an hour, and those people need to go do some fasting, meditation, and relax, and then come back and think about it. Because this site is for those that are healers. I'm building you all as healers, as many of you as you want, because we need you. People are suffering. And look at how many of you guys have overcome your suffering. It's just incredible. My heart is pounding big, because I'm just so proud of every one of you guys. Do not get caught up in these people that try to bring the smoke screen in, or those that got trapped in the illusion that didn't understand why they were having problems. That's why I'm doing this. Because it's time we get our head out of this ignorance and out of these misconceptions and start looking at this. All these foods. Look at nuts. Everybody thought nuts was healthy. Look at those of you that have found that that's not the case. There's a hard shell around a nut for a reason. Coconuts, obviously, incredible food sources, but all your other nuts, very complex foods of proteins and fats. Need very little if you use nuts at all. But when you're detoxifying, you get rid of these concentrated heavy foods because you need astringents. You need foods that'll clean the body, refurbish the body. Well, now wait a minute. If you have to get away from proteins to clean and refurbish the body, why would you eat them in the first place? So I don't know. It's enough to say that balance is always important because of the consciousness of man, not for any other reason. And the consciousness of the cells in the human body, they don't know what living foods are. They don't know what electromagnetic energy is or higher consciousness is. Cells are being replicated on the old consciousness of omnivorish thinking and old family values and everything else. So your cells in your body, you're educating and uplifting the very cells in your body. And it just takes a while to get everybody on board, to get this anionic, dehydrated, coagulated fluid called the lymph system up and moving properly, and getting the adrenals to get the kidneys to filter again. That's what this is about. And once you do, boy, you start getting that balding going away. You start getting the pressure out of the heads. You start getting nerve regeneration, blood vessel regeneration, tissue regeneration of all kinds. That's what's exciting. But man has just walked down so many pathways. There's so many books and so many opinions, blah, 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 blah. In reality, it's much simpler than that, guys. Very much simpler than that. Just eat your fruits and veggies and quit worrying about it. If you want green drinks, okay. I have no problems with any of these things, but in detoxification, people reach plateaus. We see this every day, and you guys that have sat in with me, you've seen that. I've showed you this, where you reach plateaus and people have to let go of their vegetables and dig deeper into the world of fruits and berries. This is what we see and what we've experienced. It took me a lot of years to get here because I'm a green guy, a vegetable guy. I have my salads, absolutely. But it took me a while to understand that it was holding us back when we had tumors that weren't breaking loose. It took me a while to get into that. And then when I started looking at all the fasting issues of the grapes and the lemons and of the waters, I realized just what the gig is. And studying the power and frequencies of fruits and berries and melons over vegetables and the astringents and the antioxidants led me down the road to really seeing it and then applying that to humans in detoxification, and you see it every single time. There are some of you that are too sensitive to fruits. Okay, go slow. Go slow. Get your adrenals up. It isn't that the foods are bad. Here's the illusion again. Blame the foods. Blame the foods. No, don't blame the foods. Blame your body. Blame where you are at in your genetic stance and in your lymph systems. That's where the gig is, not in the foods. The problem with the foods is we don't have good quality foods in America. Except for some farmers. I'm not bashing the farmers that are doing a good job out there, but I am bashing those that are not, because this is the food source. You're privileged to make the food source for humans, and you should respond with that accordingly. Here, I grew this for you. Blessed, with all the blessings of the Supreme Being, or God, or whoever, of the Mother, whatever you equate to the Creator, or the power it to be, Spirit, whatever word you want to call it. The life force, the prana. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what name you want to give it. Again, quit looking at the illusion and look at reality here. All right, enough said. I love you all now. And carry on. And be strong when you come up. Don't let people shake you off your tree here. Not good. Now, this is something I want me to read this. I've got a few minutes left. This is a sad case, I guess. Jennifer wrote sad on here. This person is writing to me with a ton of unpleasant feelings. I'll just start and tell my story. I don't know how long. I probably should go through this first, save you a lot of trouble. They've had troubles with their stomach and bowels since they were born. They couldn't digest what had happened to me during pregnancy. Conception was horrifying. Oh, man. I was super sensitive to thoughts surrounding energies. This person is really ultra sensitive in every body they have. Every body, the mental body, the emotional body. This soul is just so sensitive to its surroundings. I could not defend myself or explain the deepest pain I constantly felt. Separation, intense loneliness. The food I then got didn't help at all. Meat, dairy, hardly any fruits or veggies ever. I could feel disconnection. And this is not coming from me. And we just talked about the foods, and here's another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. They're all out there because we know that the fruits, the berries, and the melons are superior. They are superior in magnetics. They are superior in chemistry. We can do the greens. I'm not complaining, absolutely. But this person has digestive problems. Why would you give them veggies? See what I'm saying? Simplicity in food, simplicity in chemistry, simplicity in consciousness, all does make a big difference. He never looked at me, never touched me. Let me see. Her father, or this could be a male, I don't know. Let me see here. A name on here. This sounds like, well, it's hard to tell. They have extremely low self-confidence. Foods made them feel numb. They would choose, let me see here. I developed eating disorders, bulimia, around my 15th birthday. I am now 28. Wow, 28 years old going through all this. Amazing. I have done nothing else but binging and throwing up for over 13 years. I wanted to look for help and tried regular psychiatrists and doctors for a short while. When I realized no one of them would ever be able to help me, I lived in pure darkness for all these years. I better not read this. Woo! Ooh, this is a sad one. Parents did nothing to help them. I eat an apple and it comes out the same way it came in. Oh, crap. The problem with the raw and the fruits, though, is that I feel I can digest absolutely nothing. I am lucky I have found some watermelons now. It's the only fruit I can handle without pain. Jesus criminy. You probably have some gastroparesis, which is paralysis of the stomach. Obviously, the pancreas is shut down and not functioning, so we need to get that on board there. That's where the herbs come in really good for you there, because you can get them down, swallow them down, and really let those take their actions on you and help you with this. But I feel so spaced out, so disconnected. Yeah, your body's pretty far out there. Now, are we going to give this person meats and lots of milks and dairy products and eggs and everything else? I mean, that's just, you get my picture here, I guess. But I feel so spaced out. Oh, and I've been using some formulas, stomach and bowel 1 to 4, good, adrenal glands, endocrine glands, lymphatic system 1 to 4 since about a month. I've also been juicing my own fresh picked herbs. Well, good deal. I love picking them, going into nature. Isn't it? It is connecting. It's connecting again. Man is disconnected from life. He needs to connect with life. We're so disconnected it's not even funny. But like I said, I feel so dead inside, like my bowel is dead, and it makes me feel so disconnected. Well, it sounds like your adrenals are pretty well, you know, on their way of hanging out, thinking about nothing. So we need to get your adrenals up there, get your emotions connected, and you just have to fall in love with God. You have to fall in love with yourself, man. You have to fall in love with yourself, because that's the point, is no one else really cares, because they don't even care for themselves. So you really have to understand that the only one that really cares is yourself. And you must pull and rely on yourself, because that is God. So you have to connect to that and appreciate that. And that might be your journey, and why spiritually you're going through this, is so you'll pull away from creation. You'll pull away from the mind. You'll pull away from emotions. Maybe your journey's higher than you really imagine. And so maybe you, as you progress here and you learn to get that physical body in order, it will also resonate back and get the emotions and the mind in order. But getting the mind in order, and we've talked about this a lot, is working with the now and appreciating your very consciousness, not your ego consciousness, but your consciousness of existence, of beingness. The fact that you have awareness, because that awareness is the same as everyone else's awareness. What makes us different are the thoughts, the memories, the emotions, the genetics, the karma, the journeys. That's what makes us God different, not the fact that we're all God. I'm going to stay on watermelon, your formulas, and my fresh juiced herbs. That's what I would do. Keep working yourself, keep working yourself. Get the pancreatic formula and keep working yourself and working yourself. I'd probably get the capsules. They're stronger. And keep working yourself and working yourself back. Appreciating yourself, loving others, giving. You be the center of your universe. Don't let society or your parents or anyone else. These are just other souls that brought a body here so you can come here. So don't get trapped up in all these things. Get tripped up in yourself. Enjoy the beauty of who you are. And get yourself on a solid foundation. Learn how to stop thinking. The mind doesn't matter. You're the one that matters here. You're doing just fine here. This sounds like you're doing really good. But we're here to help you, so don't freak out here. We're all here to help you. You got a bunch of Facebook people loving to help people here. You get some radical people on there that stirs the pot because they can't control their mind. But outside of that, you got some good people out there on YouTube and Facebook that are willing to be your friends and help you. Got a lot of loving people on this site. I wish I could feel something here. Well, you have to work yourself back, man. I'll give this to Jennifer. I mean, she handed it to me. Kind of a sad story here. So, I have a question about cooked steamed vegetables. They've been pretty raw for about 1.5 months, mainly apple juice and fruits. I've started to use fresh herbs. I would say that steamed vegetables would be your better way over raw vegetables. Raw vegetables is going to be insane for you. If you don't digest your apples, imagine what you're not going to digest when it comes to your vegetables. Go to your steamed vegetables, break down some of that cellulose if you have to. Keep working yourself back. You need the raw and the living, but you've got that. You've got your herbs, and so you can introduce some steamed vegetables, but I would stay as raw as possible. If you can, I wouldn't even introduce them. I'd just stay all raw if you can. If you need to for balance, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. So yesterday, after 6 weeks of only fruit, I decided to cook some potatoes. Wrong veggie. And it felt like a message to my intestines, really. I was pretty hungry, too, as I probably didn't digest very well. And for some reason, I cannot stand bananas. The denser fruit, yeah, because you have a hard time digesting. It's your digestive tract. So would it be okay to include steamed or cooked vegetable again for a while? You could. Not going to hurt you. You wanna feel good. This is Lonnie. I hope that helps you, dear one. But we're here to help you, so don't freak out. Relax. Get happy with yourself. That's who you got. You can't get rid of it. And you can't kill your body and think you're getting rid of yourself because you're always there. You can't run and hide from yourself. You notice that? Maybe we talked about this. And I gotta go, so I have to run and hide in a way. This is for R. Malta 69. Good out-of-body experience. Keep working with that, and you're going to move yourself into more conscious out-of-body travels. Love it. Hey, thank you all so much, and sorry for the little bit of this, but there's some people out there that need a little bit of reality spanking. And we have to remember, don't play with the illusion. Look to reality. I love you all. You have a fun day, and I hope you all are doing well. If you're not, hang in there. Be patient. Relax. Find joy, and be happy. And Godspeed. Good morning or afternoon. It's morning still. I want to catch up with some of these questions of yours and try to get caught up here a little bit. I hope the one on the foods helped you a little bit. Not worth getting into the chemistry of everything, and I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. It's been a lot of years since I kind of tore foods apart chemically and everything. And then as herbal consciousness grows, we're learning a lot more about the chemistry of the botanicals. But again, life is ever growing here on this planet. This is a question about gynecomastia, and that's what I have a little bit. Men with barreled chests, bigger chests, small breasts, so to speak. And I've said this before about the adrenal glands. There's a steroid in the adrenal glands called stilbestrol. And stilbestrol is a hormone, or a steroid, in other words, that are used for the breast. And they were giving stilbestrol to men with prostate cancer, and they were growing full breasts like women. So this stilbestrol is a little known steroid there, but that would show an overproduction of that sort of thing. When you start seeing the shape and changes in the human body, you can go directly to steroids and hormones for that. Some men carry a little more estrogen, some men more testosterone. That really kind of brings down the individuals and from either a male to a male that's more feminine and all that. It is nice to have the balance where a male is balanced with his female side and a female's balanced with their male side. You see the spiritual people more in that balanced state where they don't particularly identify with a gender because they're seeing themselves more as one with all things, not in the physical forms. Obviously, in physical forms, we're individuals. What makes us each one? And that is God. That is the consciousness. And it's really hard to define the consciousness or what consciousness is. We've used the word awareness, intelligence, but it's that which gives you awareness. It gives you the ability to perceive and to know. The mind has its own set of rules, its own workings. We've discussed this before. And the emotions has its own set. And the physical. Each realm, each level of heavens has their own set of laws that govern that realm and those bodies on that realm. So each are different in that respect. So this is, again, going back to the adrenal glands. And you have to get your adrenal glands healthy and balanced out. Even when I was total fruitarian, I lost most of this. But it just shows the adrenals, and we all have that. I mean, even I face all these things. I mean, nobody's above others. And he's 21 years old, and you see this a lot out there now, more and more and more, because of the adrenals and the steroids. So men's chests are getting more feminine looking and blah, 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 blah. So just go, you have to just work on your health issues, get your adrenals healthy and that sort of thing. Same thing there. It plagues my life. Don't let it plague your life, but get your adrenals back in order. I know this is a bit of a deal. It's embarrassing for some men. I know that was for me, and I just don't care anymore. But that sort of thing, you know, big barrel-chested, big-chested men, you know. But it's more than that. It forms more like a woman, and that again is the adrenal glands involved in that, in my opinion. Now, the pituitary could have some influence on that, but certainly stilbestrol is one of these steroids. I would be looking for that. And I don't know how to tell you to balance that out other than making tissue healthy. And you're going to reverse genetics because this is just part of the cortex there that's gotten weakened or overstimulated for either just the lymph or, you know, acids overstimulating that, and it's just developed that kind of consciousness. You know, it's all, it's hard. It's just hard to get into the spiritual side of the cells and consciousness and what really is. I mean, it's like we're talking on the first video you're going to see before this one about here's the magician with images to keep your mind busy. In other words, look over here, but reality's over here, and that's what you have to realize. Creation is look over here, but it isn't reality. There's no, and people just, they'll kill people over it. They'll fight over it. They get on this site and fight over it. Over what? Creation? Creation is not real at all. It appears real when you're there with a body at that level, but as soon as you get outside of it and you leave your body, you start to see a whole different picture of things. And when you start to really see the energy of spirit or the prana or the life force as it's whirling from the heavens and coming down and then creating forms, you start realizing that the forms are totally illusionary. It's the intelligence, it's the consciousness that is reality. And that's what you have to get to, is your consciousness. And there's no way you're going to travel to it, because you already are it. And that's why living in the present moment is the only way you can experience true consciousness. Outside of that, you're invoking thought, the mind, to determine your modus operandi, your journey, your route that you're going to take. And then the emotions, of course, feeds that and drives the thought. So just keep working on yourself in those ways. Gynecomastia. Very aware of it. This is Gin Freedom Guy. That was Matthew, by the way. This is Gin Freedom. I like that, Gin Freedom. Thrush from antibiotic use. How interesting. Do we always see fungus ticking up when you'd use antibiotics? I tell you, there's nothing. And I feel sorry for this poor girl. They've cut off her leg, cut part of her torso off with flesh-eating bacteria. Scary stuff out there, and that's why cleaning and strengthening the human body would definitely be in order. I would love to see what herbs would do for this beautiful soul instead of the way they go after it. My guess is we could have saved her whole body. But you know what? I've never had a case. I'd love to have a case, but where would you ever get in on a case like that? This person is a new subscriber, but have known about you through Dan McDonald. Oh. I have much respect for you. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Welcome aboard, dear. Thank you for sharing so much. You're welcome. Definitely. That's what love's about, and that's what we're all about working together with. We're all just working together to get well and to develop a higher way of acting and presenting ourselves and playing. We're trying to get our joys back, trying to be more free in life and to see maybe beyond the illusion of this physical world into higher God levels. Those are always fun things, you know. I am a raw vegan and have been for nearly 3 years. Congratulations. Prior to that, I was a vegetarian for 15 years. Congratulations there. She's a 33-year-old accountant residing in Missouri. Last year, I had a wisdom tooth removed that resulted in a breach of my sinus cavity. Ooh. I know, my sinus cavity, my bone here is real thin. I know it. You know, that's all what acids do. You know, and all that sinus mucus and stuff like that. I was loaded with it from the milks. I had a fistula and sinus fluid was leaking into my mouth. Holy crap. You poor thing. Bacteria from my mouth also went into my sinus cavity via the hole. I had a subsequent sinus surgery, so to speak, at the same time, 3-hour surgery. Oh. By ENT and his colleague to remove tooth fragments, bone fragments from my sinus and tooth fragments from my gum tissue. You poor thing. Holy crap. The wisdom tooth removed was in September 11. The sinus surgery in November 11. I was on very strong antibiotics, during this time through January. During January 12, I was determined I had a candida overgrowth and was having GI issues. During tax season, I began to experience extreme difficulty swallowing. Well, that was because of the IRS. In January 12, I told my doctor I felt something was growing in the back of my mouth. He said nothing and said there was nothing there. I wish I had found a good naturopath in town, as there is so much misinformation from Western doctors. No kidding. I thought the difficulty swallowing was potentially a psychosomatic or tax season stress from the continued health problems. I previously never went to the doctor except for annual blood work, was healthy, active, blah, 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 blah. I finally got to the point where I was choking on my saliva and went to the doctor. I had an endoscopy 2 weeks ago which found oral thrush in my esophagus, gastritis, and they diagnosed me with Barrett's esophageal issues, even though I have never had reflux. Well, and any input you could provide on which of your herb formulas combinations would be best, etc., etc. Much love, Jennifer from Missouri. Hey, Jennifer from Missouri. Well, you know, there's no question that you have candida overgrowth there, so parasite M is the answer, but the swelling is not good. And that swelling, remember, we've talked about this on other videos, the 3 acid refluxes. They're not real acid refluxes. So they use those words, but they don't define actuality. There's only one true acid reflux, remember? Hydrochloric acid, no bicarbonate. This issue sounds more serious to me and right on point, and that is interstitial lymphatic constipation. In other words, if you have gastritis, what's causing this? Could it be hydrochloric acid not being neutralized by bicarbonate? You're not a meat eater. And if you don't eat a lot of nuts and anything like that and you're all raw, then this is an obvious. And that is in the wall of your stomach, in the wall of your esophagus, your lymphatic system is literally impacted, and that's where you're getting the swelling in the throat. This is the worst kind of swelling. So you really want to put yourself on a fruit fast and start pulling this mucus out of you. You're going to cough some up through the mouth probably, but again, you want to pull all this out in the GI tract, get those kidneys and adrenals filtering, because all this congestion is working its way all up through here. And that's where you get the deterioration of the bone. So this is real important that you really move your lymph system, dear, and get that moving, because this will lead to nothing good, and that swelling could lead you into a tumor in the throat. You don't want to go anywhere like that. That's your lymph that's swelling. So get yourself on a fruit fast. I don't care what kind, grape, lemon, I don't care. Work on your fruit levels. Salad once a day maybe, but you want to get this sooner than later. At the same time, if it was me, I would do lymphatic 1 capsules 3 times a day. Three times a day. I'd do a stomach and bowel clean and get that. Make sure you have good bowel movements. 2, I'd get into the kidney capsules, or at least kidney number 1. Get your kidneys filtering. I recommend 2 kidney formulas on people nowadays because of what we're dealing with. You always want to hit your adrenal glands, which turns on the kidneys, and you want to go that way and really start pulling this out. If you have to, get the GI broom and really start pulling down this gut area and get this mucus to come out. You're going to cough some up, and this could swell a little more yet, so don't freak out. I've been there. I've had that type of swelling. I know exactly what that type of swelling is, and I've seen many people with it. They lump everything under diseases and a GERD and all this crap. This is a thing, in my opinion, that you want to deal with. And this goes back to the teeth, goes back to the lymph system in the jaws, in the sinus cavities. This goes to all of that. And you see how that acid mucus chewed up your sinus bone. So absolutely. I mean, you want to turn this around. Kick my parathyroid up if I was you. Kick your parathyroid up to where you make sure and thyroid, make sure both of them are good, so you're utilizing calcium. That way you'll rapidly heal. If you're still in that process, then get the Bones formula and do 2 or 3 capsules, I would, 3 times a day, and really start accelerating the power of healing. At the same time, you got to remove all this mucus and acids that are causing these problems and these swellings in you, and then you'll be okay, honey. But really, Jennifer, get yourself focused down that lymph, because this doesn't, to my opinion, this doesn't lead to anything good. And the medical doctors would not see that, by the way. Not their fault. They just don't see it. This is Miss Juicy Kisses. Now, that's a pretty good name. And if I wasn't a man, that's a pretty good name, Miss Juicy Kisses. Hi, Dr. Morris. I've been getting a lot of UTIs. Now, again, the UTIs, this also could be coming from inside the lymph system in your wall of your kidneys or bladder. That's interstitial. All these levels around the cells are interstitial. So you could have interstitial lymphatic constipation, just what we were talking about, in the wall of the kidney or bladder, and it's burning because they're acids. So they're burning you from that. So really get on the kidney formulas. I'd do probably at least 2, and also start moving my lymph more aggressively, especially within those tissues itself, because in actuality, the kidneys and bladder tissue, they have to filter too. And if the kidneys aren't filtering properly, they don't filter themselves properly, they go down too. That's where you get the polycystic kidney syndromes and all these new names for all these multiple cysts and tumors. Okay, but that's all lymph. And that's what you have to move out of there, and even in the kidney. So I would do that. If I was juicing, I would juice parsley, dandelion green. Definitely get up on the beet bulbs. Use the beet bulbs, even some beet tops if you want, and really go after it in that way. Grape juice, grape juice, grape juice. Take Parasite M too. That'll help with any candida or any fungal problems in that respect. But this is more of an acid lymphatic problem than it is a bacterial problem. Bacteria doesn't cause mucus, they break it down. And I hope that helps you out. But again, you've got to get your kidneys filtering. Remember what's on top of the kidneys, the adrenal glands. Never forget the twins. And the adrenals control it. So the problem is always in the adrenal glands, but that reflects and makes the problem in the kidneys, and the problem's in the lymph, and then it just goes on that way. When we look at symptoms, it's like that magician. We're looking at the effect and not the truth or the cause. Same thing. So go down that road, dear, and you'll be fine, Miss Juicy Kisses. Whew. I'm going to have to go eat lunch and take a cold shower. Holy crap. Just kidding. N-E-U-R, I'm sorry, I got a nervous system out, N-E-R-O-L-I. Hi, 528. Hello there. Hi, Dr. Morris. Could you please give me your expertise on detoxifying the brain body from exposure to a natural gas leak? Well, these are neurotoxins, so you guys, yeah, that's sad. Well, again, fruit's going to be your best bet in, one, moving any neurotoxicity out of the body and strengthen myelin sheaths if there's any damage to that, and also perk up my adrenal glands. To detoxify means you are going to perk up the adrenal glands, get the kidneys filtering, and clean your lymph system. It's the lymph system that has to clean the body up. I see this in a lot of Amish that was burning kerosene. Whenever you breathe any of these fumes and stuff, these are neurotoxins. Definitely can put a real hurting on you neurologically, create a lot of anxieties, anxiousness, depressions in certain ways, but just that whole isolation thing. So getting your adrenals up, cleaning that body out, and I just go after I was detoxifying. Greens might help you a little bit there as well. I'm not opposed to green juices, but at the same time, I definitely really clean my body out with the fruits. But certainly, going back to the parsleys and the dandelion greens and the beets, absolutely the spinaches, throw kelp in there if you don't mind the taste. Anything like that would be good at detoxifying this out of you. Irish moss is really good. So stuff like that just help clean the body out. But again, these are neurotoxins and can really be devastating on you. So you haven't mentioned anything, but whew. Thanks for the question, guys. Dr. Morris, I plan on, this is Leahcimrac. Dr. Morris, I plan on doing a fruit fast of apples pretty soon for my araconatosia genetic retinal condition where cone cells are missing or non-functional. Well, now this, again, this is we've got a formula. What is the name of that? It's got raw eye tissue in it, bilberry in it, it's got all the goodies. You can use my eye wash topically and internally. Go after that, because now you're getting into, again, stagnation of fluids and what takes place, the breaking down of the rods and cones, blah, 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 blah. I haven't mentioned the rods and cones, but you mentioned the cones here, right? Yeah, and even though genetic means a weakness. It's how a cell perceives itself. Well, you can turn that around, but that's not what breaks them down. Cell weakness doesn't break itself down. What makes a cell break down? What makes a cell weaker cells? What deteriorates a cell? You got to go to chemistry. You don't go to genetics, you go to chemistry. What in chemistry genetically weakens or mutates a cell? Acids. Again, don't look at the smoke screen. Look at reality and truth. So that's where I would go. I would detoxify him. We can't detoxify just the head, of course, but you want to clean that GI tract up, get your head cleaned up, because you're going to find GI tract problems and sinus problems with this condition. And so you want to get all this cleaned up, get your kidneys online there, get your adrenals up, and start cleaning myself out there. What is the name of that? Can't remember, but they will know here. But it's a good formula with a lot of goodies to help that. That's where a glandular would come in real good, wake up those cells. But and they have raw eye tissue too, you know. Quit it. We harvest eyes out of humans all day long. You know, when I was in the ER and people wouldn't make it, you know, the harvesters would come. Quite interesting to watch them harvest a human body. Does interesting how that is. And would really like to know what herbs and formulas. Yeah, I would do the eye formulas. Definitely get the upper circulation. Also the blood, the brain and nerve formula, the new one, number 2. So I'd do upper circulation if it was me. I'd do brain and nerve. At the same time, I would do the eye wash topically and internally. I would get this eye formula, Visioplex. It's called Visioplex. It's got raw eye tissue in there. It's got bilberry. It's got a whole line of good stuff. I have bilberry in my eye wash. But all of that is good to help regenerate eye tissue. At the same time, get away from genetics and the thought of that that's the problem. Realize that the lymph is the problem. Acids are the problem. That's why the deterioration. If you were born without those cells, then you've got to really get in there and regenerate, and the body will pull that back into place. We've talked a lot about this with people born without. Remember the spinal bifida case I told you, born without L4 and L5, the kidney vertebrae, and in 3 years on raw food she has L4 and L5. Actually, she started having them at 2 years. Also would be your advice as to what I should do about this condition which I've had since birth. I'm sorry if you already answered. No, don't be. That's a good question. And it's a really interesting situation. I haven't answered this question before. Haven't had that here, really. We don't get everything under the sun here. And even as many years as I've done it, there's always new cases here that I've never heard of or seen. But it shows if you brought this down, the genetic weakness down, that means your mom and dad, somebody's hurting. And maybe don't know it yet, or has MACD or something like that. But anyway, same thing in any tissue, no matter where the location is. You always know that the acid side of chemistry and the lymph system are the two culprits in where we see the deterioration. Rarely is it the blood. But there's no question that you want to have adequate and increased blood flow to compromised areas. At the same time, because that's where the magnetics and energies come, at the same time you've got to also remove waste, always. And that's even if you were born with genetic slumbers or cells that didn't even appear. That's when you want to pick up those magnetics, remember this, our body's coming off from blueprints. And these blueprints are in what's called the causal heavens, or the causal worlds. These are blueprints. And it's why the phantom limb syndrome, why when you cut off a limb you still feel it. Why would you still feel it if that was all there was just the physical? That isn't all there is. And that's why we can answer a lot of these questions that we've had in the future. Now, what is that? No, we know spiritually, when you know the makeup of creation, it shouldn't offend any spiritual person or any religious belief system, the simple makeup of creation. Man needs to understand that more. Man's just this meany little being that's scared of his own shadow. But use those things and I think you'll do well. Clean the gut, get the kidneys, go down that same road. Good questions, guys. You guys are coming up with some really good questions. This is Green Helper 7. Dr. Morris, when you have us on glandular protocols, is it temporary or permanent? I never use glandulars permanently. I don't use herbs permanently. Permanently. I don't do that. Dr. Morris or anyone else, have you ever seen a case of someone allergic to celery? No, but anything's possible. You know, all this is organic Superman. You know what? Get on your fruits and detoxify that lymph system of yours, and you should be able to go back and use it. I'd probably muscle test it first before I would consume it. Sometimes that'll pre-warn you whether your body really wants it or not, is do a muscle test on you and check that out. But this is all about the lymph system, and the toxicities occurred and ingested in one way or another, whether it's through what you eat, for what you drink, what you breathe, or what you put on your skin. So you have to clean all that out. And then once you do, it's like any allergy, it will go totally away, because it's just that you've had too much of a chemical that's in whatever you're consuming. And whatever it is, you've reached the plateau and your body can't handle it. It's like sulfa drugs. You've had too many of them, whoop. Thanks for the response to my toenail fungus question. Oh, thank you. This Organic Superman again. I have a raw food diet and I drink raw organic juices daily. Green juices are my favorite. Good. I like them, but I have to tell you, a good robust fruit juice is my favorite. But I like the green juices. I don't dislike them, not at all. But I wouldn't go running for one, but I would go running for a coconut smoothie or something like that. You betcha. You know, we just got a little 3-month-old in, weighs 10 pounds. Well, this lady's house was robbed, and then the cops came in, saw the 3-month-old 10-pound baby, and now you got the state in on her and all kinds of problems. So we'll see. Jesus criminy. This is what you get out there, guys. These are sad cases. Like yesterday or the day before, you were in here right when we got the news of a 22-year-old stroke. I mean, this is just, it's what we're facing. So I suggest that those of you that are doing the squabbling, get unsquabbled, and let's get serious about getting people well. We've got a lot of work to do here. There's a lot of sick people on this planet. So we need to work together, get past some of these mind hiccups and all these things, and lay that mind aside, and let's go down the road with what works. Quit reading all the books and getting confused about yourself, about all this, or you'll lead you nowhere. You'll get a stalemate. What are dry fingertips a sign of? I get that a lot and think it's related to stress, both from food and otherwise. Well, this is cool. Listen, cool. Well, I mean, this is all toxicity. This is all, whenever you see drying, that's acidosis. Acids dry, dehydrate. So either you've washed your hands with something too much, you see that in nursing a lot, and then the lotions. A lot of women are always putting lotions on their hands to keep them soft. Wrong way. If you put anything on your hands, make sure you can drink it, because basically you are. And so this has been the problem. And people that lymph systems can't clean those chemicals out even when you're washing your hands. Remember, your largest cells here are in your hands and your feet. What you put on is guaranteed to absorb in. And after a while, you'll see some people start cracking and bleeding in their hands. They've super clogged the lymph system in the lower extremities, and if they're compromised, which most of us are in certain degrees, moving lymph, then that's just going to hang around and hang around and hang around, and then you start to see the cracking and the dryness and etc., etc. But move those lymphs. Move those lymphs. That's fruit and that's herbs, in my opinion. In my opinion. Oliver World, I have a question for you. A childhood friend of mine had a terrible shock about a week ago. Her daughter was in around 14. Oh my God. Her daughter, who is around 14, fell off a... Oh, I think I addressed this, and broke her neck. Yeah, I did address this. She's in the hospital and still has a breathing tube. Yep. She has regained feeling down to her toes. Yeah, this is good, because you'll be able to get her back. You'll be able to get her back. She's 14. They're in a growth stage. This is also where you would use the ultimate immune formula. After about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month on a detox, you could add the ultimate immune formula. This is the antler and the ginsengs. But at first, I'd go up here with brain and nerve and the upper circulation formulas. At the same time, you want to move all that trauma out, move that lymph, get those kidneys, and get those adrenal glands up and going. Very important for the steroids. We need those steroids to help the healing process, and if she has weak steroids, she might not heal as well. My question is this: if she eats a typical omnivorous diet, will the herbs help her to regain movement? I tell you what, I certainly wouldn't stop using the herbs, or I would start using them no matter what her diet is. With a broken neck like that, but she needs to get off the omnivorous diet, get away from the proteins. Look at the, and everybody on the proteins, look at the experiment Arnold Ehret offered, and I challenge every one of you to try to get to that level. Get to the level where your body's so pure on a fruitarian level of cleaning and everything that you can cut yourself and you don't bleed. And you don't notice it's healed up within a few days or a day. Then just start eating a bunch of meat for about a week or two, and then try cutting yourself and try doing it. If meat's so healthy, see what happens. See what your experience is going to be. I guarantee you'll have the same experience Eric, myself, and probably many others have experienced doing this. If it was so healthy, why would you experience more pain, more pus, and take a lot longer to heal when all on fruit, you didn't feel it, it didn't bleed, and it healed the next day? If you're in healing, it is obvious which direction you're going to go in. You don't need to read a book about it. But I think I've covered this in another video here. But if I haven't, boy, I'd hit the bones formula on this one. I would definitely get the upper circ, brain, and nerve. Really tear into this case in terms of moving lymph. I would pump this one with greens as well, though. With her, I would use some greens. Now, if she's a neurological case, that might hold her back. You definitely want high-level fruits, berries, and melons. If she's neurologically compromised at all, and she doesn't pull out of it, an omnivorous diet will never allow her to pull out of it. She'll never pull out of it. So she really, if she's getting nerve suppression from that, or damage to the nervous system, the fruit's the only way, bro. I've had a lot of years of this, and just tell you this. Oliver World, I love your videos. Oh, thank you so much. I wish the entire world could be so enlightened. Me too. Sure make a more fun place, wouldn't it? Today at the supermarket, but then we wouldn't have the YouTube site, and we wouldn't have this much fun. Today at the supermarket, the cashier noticed that I'd been buying a lot of fruit. See what I mean? You didn't say a word. This cashier goes, well, look, you're buying a. It's just when you go to your grocery store, walk back to your produce section, and quit thinking, and just scan the produce section with observation, with your attention. Just scan and look at all the color. Step back and just look at all the energy coming from all those fruits and vegetables. Look at the energy in the air. See if you can see the auric look. See if you can look at all the beautiful fruits. Don't look at each one specifically. Look at it as a whole, and look at the power and the beauty as opposed to the rest of the store. So people naturally go, oh, I just do the same thing. I'm always buying tons of fruits and stuff, and except I buy meat once in a while for the dog. And I get down to the counter, and I get this organic meat at this counter, sliced meat and stuff, and because my dog very finicky. And the lady says, oh, here, have a pound. No, I don't eat meat. Well, I said, this is for my dog. Your dog eats this? I said, my dog eats this. But I pull up with lots of fruits, and the cashiers are always going, wow. It turns on the mind, it turns on the spirituality, it turns on the awareness. So look at that. You know, we all want to eat better. We know intuitively what's right. The mind has clouded our intuitiveness out. So I told her that I was pretty much all we'd been eating, and she said, just make sure you get your protein or your muscles will turn to water. I just can't wait till someone asks me that one. Really, another friend of my husband told him to let me do what I wanted, but get some meat into my kids. They need their protein. Yeah, you don't have to have it, but your kids should. Yeah, I love that one. It's like the primate. I don't eat meat as the adult, but my baby should go out and eat on some kind of dead zebra over there until they get so big, and then we'll get them off of that crap. If I took my kid to McDonald's or Taco Bell every night, no one would say anything. That's right. That's right. In fact, some of my friends do this, and I consider it child abuse. Well, that's about the truth. In one way of thinking, you feeding your child mac and cheese and meats and milks, it's child abuse. It really is, because what you're doing to your children, you have no clue to what's, and people bitching about no money and medical expenses, who you're going to be living with. Those people are probably going to go to the medical world first. And these poor babies, I feel sorry for those souls. They're the ones that don't have no control right now, and they have to take what they get from the parents. That's why you guys are so very important out there. I think you're understanding this, how important each and every one of you are to the growth of this planet and this level of creation. I can't overemphasize the beauty that all of you hold and the need all of you have to turn on that light of yours and to help people with this, because it's just unawareness. They just don't know. And all the commercials they trust, look, Taco Bell's everywhere. It can't be all that bad. Little corn, little lettuce, tomatoes, you know. But I've never considered telling them what to feed their family. As soon as you do something different and healthy, everyone is worried you won't get enough nutrients. What a crazy world. I'll second that. It is. And the more aware you guys get, whew, we'll have better conversations. This is Divine Kitchen. Ooh, I like that name. Divine Kitchen. I like anything with divine in it, you know, because I love the divine. The divine is divine. Hi, Doc. I got in touch with you a while ago, and you kindly replied with some excellent advice. Oh, thanks. About my fingers and the lymph problem. I was experiencing numbness, bruising on my nails, etc. I remember that question. I am a guitar player. Yeah, I thought I was. Did you guys watch American Idol last night? I say the two men will be left standing, even though all three deserve to win. I think Philip in his uniqueness, I would buy his album. I think the black guy is unreal. I think he's the next James Brown. He's the next, I mean, he's just blowing out the water. Perhaps he will bring R&B back. I know completely what he was saying there. But to see that drummer, they hired that drummer. I knew they would. He's a butt-kicking drummer, boy. Anyway, I am a guitar player. I thought I had healed my ulcerative colitis, but fingers got worse in the cold and bruised nails became infected, and not enough drainage in hands made it didn't heal so hard to be let. Well, here's the thing. It could take you a while to get yourself back to Wellville. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated, because, again, ulcerative colitis, you're burning from the inside out. Nothing ever good comes of that, my friend. You need to get that lymph moving in the GI tract. Get the lymph moving in your fingers. You've got to get your lymph moving. So you've got to work on your kidneys and adrenals, tear off, get into these GI formulas, the lymphatic capsules and stuff like that, like we've been talking about, and really get that all. Make sure that ulcerative colitis is gone, way gone. This is why I say push this way beyond your symptoms being gone, way beyond that, to where they'll never come back, because there's nothing to come back. You've gotten rid of all of that. And I think that's what you have to do. If not, things come creeping back when you don't do the do. You see that every time. But when you get that and you clean that up, your cancers will never come back. Your tumors will never come back. Nothing will come back, because there's no reason to come back. You've got to correct this. And it seems to me that you haven't got enough time and done this enough to get this out. Cold is alkaline. It's always going to bring detox symptoms out. Now it's still not really healing and looking like ulceration of finger. It's bad. Well, you've really got some heavy lymphatic things here. Oh, man. He's talking about scleroderma. I have never failed to take a scleroderma case with our health programs and totally get rid of it. On the other hand, for those that don't understand scleroderma, never walk down the road of scleroderma. You literally start, your muscles, everything just starts becoming solid like a big fibroid. You literally choke to death. Not pleasant, not fun, and not good. So, You must detoxify your body, my friend, until all these symptoms are gone and long gone, okay? You don't want to walk up to the road of scleroderma. Don't let them scare you like that. I got some tests also and found I am hypothyroid. Well, use a glandular, pop that baby up. I got some herbs similar to your for lymph and for kidney bladder and some thyroid, good. And adrenal glandulars, good. That's okay. Don't have to be mine. I'm not pushing my stuff, guys. I like my stuff. I am proud of my stuff, you know. But, you know, trying to do mostly grapes, but my colitis symptoms have come back with a vengeance. Get our bowel formula or use some slippery elm marshmallow teas and stuff like that, or capsules would actually be better, and start soothing that wall. This is why, because this isn't a topical issue on your bowel wall. It's ulcerated on the wall. But the sad thing, it's coming interstitially. It's coming from in the wall. It's burning you through the wall. Not good. So really want to work with this. If your thyroid is low, it's possible you have a low parathyroid. So you might want to take a glandular for the parathyroid gland, supplement some kelp or something high in calcium that hormone will help to utilize, and it'll help heal. I would take the bones capsules internally. Yes. Come on in.
Doing a video?
Yeah.
I need 20 minutes. This wasn't 20 minutes. I needed your time.
Okay. You need me in 20 minutes?
No,
or
I need you for 20 minutes.
For 20 minutes?
And it's 15 to 1.
Okay, so I'll cut this. I'll finish this one case.
Okay, because this is a very, really important, I gotta tell you about. Yeah.
Okay. I have to cut, obviously. Oh my God. Let me see here. But let's see. Yeah, you really want to use the bones formula to start healing the wall. But remember, it's coming from in the wall. This is their lymph system again. Really want to take care of this one, my friend. You're really going to have to just tear it up for a while until you can get that. Make sure your kidneys are filtering. Make sure your sediment in your urine. And you're really going to have to go after this, because this is tracing right back to kidneys and adrenals and not moving that lymph. And you see it in your hands, you see it in your colon. It's a systemic problem, as we've said. It's head to toe. So this is just pushing you to do a lot better and to keep moving down that road. There's a lot of things you can do to soothe that ulceration. Definitely don't want to do any proteins. Woohoo! But find maybe a softer fruit or something that might not have so much strength to it. Grapes are very powerful astringents, so it's definitely going to kick up the ulcer a little bit. I would definitely use the slippery elm tea, the marshmallow tea, or get our stomach and bowel formula, heal all tea capsules. All that has marshmallow, slippery elm. The bones formula has the comfrey and the horsetail and all the good ones that heal and soothe as well. So go down that road, but you got to really move your lymph deep in your body and get rid of all this. You don't want to go any further there. Not producing any solids, just diarrhea and blood. Losing weight, well, you're malabsorbed with all this. Interstitial lymphatic constipation, and this is very serious, and you really want to keep going with that. You might want to call here and have one of the guys help you there, maybe a little bit with that. Has got a bad losing weight and feeling like a train wreck. Well, because you're being chewed up. Literally, your body's being chewed up right now. So, yeah, you're going to feel like a train wreck. Losing weight, feeling like a wreck with a bad taste in the mouth. I am going to try to get, you can even get aloe vera if you wanted to and ingest aloe vera. We have aloe vera here. You can buy it in health food stores. Get the very best you can find. But slippery elm and marshmallow capsules, definitely go after that. It'll soothe that ulceration. The bones formula, those kind of herbs heal, that sort of thing. Remember, this is acids in the wall burning through the wall. This is all about interstitial lymphatic constipation. But I feel I need to clean and support my GI tract before anything else. No, this is a systemic problem, man. You got to move your lymph above anything else. It's too tender and sensitive. Well, that's why you use the herb, that beautiful herbs. Thank you, God. Use those. If you have to just do broths and stuff like that, you can do vegetable broths to help soothe if you would like. In the past, if I tried psyllium husk, oh yeah, no. You want to heal the ulceration. Well, the ulceration is an acid experience, except these acids are in the wall. That's where it's more problematic, and that's simply going to your lymph system again, not filtering properly. In the past, I also have been told that I carry a lot of heat in my body. Well, because this is a systemic problem, and acids are heat producing. I seem to have spent my whole life searching for balance physically on another level. What can you advise to get me going right now until I can consult you directly? Thanks, man. I'm sending you much love, and I'll send it back to you in the UK. You are such a oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Kavi. It's a Sanskrit name. It means poet. Ooh, I love that. I love Sanskrit. I wish I knew it. Going way back. You know, you find Ekankar and the Ekmasters way back in some of the old Sanskrit writings, you know. Cool stuff out there. Anyway, all life is cool. You know, you just have to open those doors. But you've got some problems, you want to go after that and what we talked about and really tear that up. I would definitely do lymphatic 1 capsules. I'd definitely do stomach and bowel 1 capsules. I would do heal all T capsules. And if you needed additional slippery elm and marshmallow, you could, but that should offer you plenty of that. I'd do bones capsules. And then I would do my kidneys and my adrenals and my liquids and everything else there. At the same time, apples are very soothing. You might have to cut that down. Maybe just eat applesauce. Apples are very soothing to ulcerations, but still, these are strong. Fruits are very strong. You might want to do some vegetable broths and stuff. At the same time, you got to have some healing power in there and some lymph moving focus. So get that ulceration healed up a little bit, and then you can tear up detox even a little better. You might have to work in that way. Guys, I got to run. I don't know what this is, but it's just, again, we got a lot of these emergencies, and it's just sad cases, and so you never know what's up. Thank you so much, and you all have a great day. We'll talk to you again maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I can get back here with this tomorrow, but I'll certainly try. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Good morning, everyone. Or, nope, it's good afternoon. Yeah, forgive me. I've been working in my gardens, and so I came in here, and there was, this is my day off. This is Friday, and I hope we get this up this weekend for you. A couple people had some important questions. I thought I would just do a short video here on these questions, so I hope you don't mind, and I appreciate you tuning into our channel. Join the God Force coming down and helping people get well and to grow spiritually and unfold. I think it, I love to see all you new people aboard, so thanks for coming aboard. This is Laura Jean. Jean's 59. This is an individual that is 52 years old that had bilateral mastectomy October 11th, 2011. 9 lymph nodes removed, 5 supposedly cancerous, so they claim middle Jan this year, a keloid type. Lump started to grow on the scar line, right side purple, then another grew. Well, this is my point, is if you never address the cause of anything, tumors and cysts will just keep coming right back. Even though you remove tissue, it'll grow back in the surrounding tissue. Why? Because this is interstitial fluid. This is the lymph system. And when the lymph system isn't being filtering, and you're just removing the effect of it, your cause is still there getting worse on you, and tumors grow right back. This is just common as the day is long. So I think, you know, what's nice is you guys are really getting that and addressing the cause of these things, and that I feel is paramount to having a successful healthcare system, is addressing causative factors. Oozing some clear fluid, which is lymph. Marsh was told likely inflammatory endocarcinoma, refused to, the surgeon remove the mass. A surgeon refused to remove the mass on her chest wall, or his, her. Let me see. Now it's got open wound at times, drips blood, pain. Well, it's going to ooze because that's interstitial, lymph and blood. So you see those two fluids always in the presence. When you see oozing, you see lymph or lymph with a little blood in it. That would be normal, you know, and that would be what your body's trying to do, clean itself through the through an opening. Remember, I told you that if the kidneys are closed, the body will seek some opening to try to move these acids out of the tissues. And if you make an opening, it'll use that for a while until you open up the main channels here. Now this person, oncologist, says, I will die in a year without chemo. Mm. I refuse both chemo and radiation, but almost did them when first diagnosed. I'm trying to eat a lot raw garlic cloves daily, coconut oil, apple cherry seeds. The mass is growing and nodes hurt. I work 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. I refuse to lay at home and die. Please advise. Sincerely, Lori in pain. Sweetheart, get yourself on a grape fast real quick, and at least, or a fruit diet real quick, and work yourself up if you have to. Take a week and do fruits and berries and melons all day long and a salad at night, and then move into an extended, say a month on all fruit. If you want to make some days all grapes, darker the better, I'm happy. You want to get on an herbal program, guaranteed. And if it was me, I'd get into our protocols there dealing with the lymph system, and get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals up, get your kidneys filtering, get this lymph moving, because nothing ever good comes of this. And so you really want to get this out of there, and you can do this. So you really want to shift your attention to everything you do is for the health of it. And that's for every one of you. When you're fighting a deadly issue, then you want to focus totally on the positive side. You want to get in there and you want to wear the robe. You want to ride the bull, whatever you want to call it. You want to go after that. Take it on like it's your new baby. You just roll and wrestle with this and get that lymph open and moving. And then your tumor will come out and you'll be very successful. At the very least, you can pull that out with black salve. Highly recommend it. FDA, you need to go take a dunk on this one. Black salve is a miracle salve. And it's better than what surgeons can do by far. So really, you might, if you can't get that mass moved out quick enough, then find someone with black salve and pull that out at the same time. Keep moving your lymph. Again, if you pull it with black salve, you're going to open up. It's going to be important. People don't understand that. You can't freak out. It can be open for a year. Hell, it can get pretty bad. So I would really try to do this the proper way, the right way first, and take care of that. If surgeons don't want to operate, you have no choice but the black salve. The problem with this is the removal of this will only cause more problems. And take care of that. If surgeons don't want to operate, you have no choice but the black salve. The problem with this is the removal of this will only cause more problems. The other negative thing here, and not to get negative, but is the removal of the lymph nodes. When you have, cells use lymph nodes as septic tanks. And when you remove them, it's just like removing a septic tank at your house, and you still use and flush your toilet. I guarantee it won't take too long, then you'll be moving out of your house. And you'll be wanting a septic tank back real bad. So this is part of the problem. If you're getting a tumor on the other side of the lymph nodes, that's very problematic and might cause you to need to use black salve off and on for, for a while in your life, and hopefully grow back new lymph nodes. But I'd really get total raw, don't mess around, get total raw, and then move up to total fruit, and then maybe just go into a mono grape diet for 10, 20, 30, 40 days. Look at James, 40 days out. A lot of you done 40-day grape fast. This is what it takes when you're this involved lymphatically. Get the GI broom, work on the gut, work on the kidneys, work on the adrenals, get on the lymph system, dear, and get this opened up and get yourself out of pain, or you're going to find it growing right into the bone. So, Lori, you get your butt in gear and get this out of there, dear one. We'll help you. We're here to help. This is Seminoles fan 30 Canada, artificial heart valve, blood thinners, and interstitial cystitis. Well, now you guys are really familiar with interstitial. Interstitial simply means around the cells. Itis means acidosis, or their word inflammation. Oh, let's see, what causes inflammation? Is inflammation the problem? No, that's the immune response. No, it's acidosis that's the problem. And so this is why the artificial valves and everything else is what acids are doing to you, my friend. So detoxify yourself. Get your butt in gear, get the kidneys, fix why you had to have valves replaced in the first place. You might also perk up the parathyroid gland in your case and strengthen up connective tissue. Might be helpful in that way. Let me see. What can't be cured? I don't know what he's talking about. Interstitial cystitis can't be cured? Oh, give me a friggin' break. Yeah, that would be, if someone can't cure interstitial cystitis, I consider them on a low on the totem pole in terms of physicians. And I wonder how many fit down there. A few, because people have to have a remedy. And the trouble is, when you have to realize where the remedy lies. And the remedy always lies when you address causative factors, not effects. The treatment of symptoms never cures. Coumadin causes artificial heart valves. Well, if you eat a good raw food diet, particularly a lot of fruits, berries, and melons, you'll keep that blood nice and perfect, blood cells separated, whole, complete, healthy, full of enzymes. Your blood will be perfect. No need to take rat poison. I mean Coumadin. HIV, and I've commented this before, HIV and AIDS are very, very, and I want to use the word curable in the sense of a non-disease, because we're not looking this as a disease. All the past look at things as diseases because, one, they can treat them legally, and two, it's just that they don't understand causative factors. So we're talking culturing medium when we're talking viruses, remember that. With viruses, though, it's not so much culturing mediums as it is damaged cells. The more you weaken more of these acids in your body, damage cells. And it doesn't matter if you call it HIV, it doesn't matter if you call it hepatitis, it doesn't matter if you call it Epstein-Barr, it doesn't matter what viral load you have. It really doesn't. It only matters when cells are weakened, and then remember the law of nature. The strong survive, the weak are consumed. And that's what viruses are for. You know what? We always blame that which we blame God. It's like I was talking about yesterday. Here's a magician. Over here's where he wants you to look, but over here's where he's doing his trick. And that's what you guys have to do, is get your view off of the medical doctor smoke screens and go look at reality. That's what's important, is that man stop now and look at truth and reality, no matter how hard it hurts, no matter how bad it affects the economy or anything else, because in the long run, everything will correct itself. This way, there's nothing for the future. Nothing. No hope, death, despair. That filters right on into the World Bank, the crashing of the world systems, the World Health Organization trying to get half of the people off the planet at least. They've said 90%, but you're rest assured they're trying to get rid of half the people off the planet. And you see that. You see that the United Nations doesn't care. This Serbian jerk can kill all these people he wants. No one seems to really care. But then later, genocide. The people make me sick. Homo sapiens on this planet sure need a lot of colonics to get their bowels cleaned up so they can start thinking and feeling, get that love moving. These HIVs, what are they going to do with them? So this is for you guys on Facebook. What are you going to do with an HIV case? Same thing you're going to do with a cirrhosis or a high liver hep C case? Is it going to be the same thing you're going to do for cancer? Now don't tell them, but absolutely. That's how simple this is, and you will win every time. There's no reason anybody should ever die of AIDS. Never. Unless they're just so far down that road. And just what you said, the drugs are extremely toxic and extremely expensive. There was the Minister of Health, I think it was Cambodia's, where I had a little 3 or 5-year-old missionaries adopted her and then came in here and told me that they'd found that she had had AIDS. So we cleaned her up of AIDS. And there was some kind of epidemic going on in her community over there, and I can't remember what it was. It was killing several babies. And the Minister of Health was making a tour of the village, and they met with the Christian missionaries. And they said, well, your little girl's not even sick. She said, oh no, she had AIDS here, but she doesn't have it anymore. He said, what? So he was so excited that he offered to donate a bunch of land for a healing center to deal with AIDS. Now, I never heard anything else about that, but I thought that was pretty cool. It's like the Presidente of the Dominican. We helped cure his wife of pancreatic cancer, so he said, I'll give you the dictator's mansion. So we all flew down there and tried to get to the dictator's mansion, the old dictator's mansion. It was too rough at the time. It was before the new airport was in, and everything was kind of rough down there. Pretty toxic, though. No catalytic converters. The big city there, they just burnt you to breathe. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to clean the body out and strengthen the cells that comprise it. This is how simple health is. We make such a big deal out of something that's very simplistic. Clean the body out of all the acids, neurotoxins, excitotoxins, all the heavy metals, all the crap, and strengthen the cells that comprise it. I don't think there's anything more simplistic than that. And you guys are getting it. I love it. You guys are going to be a power to be reckoned with, and I respect every one of you that's stepping up to the plate and giving of yourself. You have probably no idea how powerful that is to the whole universes of God, because when you guys are channeling and giving love, it isn't just doing it here at this level. You're doing it on all levels. Remember, you're a multifaceted being. So when you're giving love, it's emanating from your highest self down to through your bodies. And that's pretty cool. If I opened the heal-all caps and put them in coconut oil and made a cream or salve of it, would those loose have powder topically? Yeah, you could do that, definitely. Can do that topically. Absolutely. Breaking it down a little bit by warming it into a tea and then using those grounds that are a little moist would also be good too. You know, breaking them down just a little to release some of their properties. You could probably do it real thick, you know, like 1 teaspoon per cup of water, no more than 2 cups, and get that real thick. And even mix it with the coconut oil or kind of simmer it down with that, not getting it too hot. But even with the heat, boy, these herbs really kick butt. Organic Superman, appreciate you, bro. Thanks for all your comments here. Took me 10 years to realize that mainstream healthcare. I know. I tell you what, some people just are naive, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. Unfortunately, in today's world, one cannot live and be naive. We all have to get street smart because of just what's going on out there. And some of you are witnessing as we go through here all these cases. And as I'm trying, I'm going to try as we get enough questions answered here to bring in some cases or film some cases while we're doing them. And if I can get permission and we can film some cases, I'll show you how I interact with the cases. And hopefully through this span of time, you'll see the befores and afters of these cases. And that's what I'd like to do. You're witnessing one now, which I met her yesterday in an appointment. The young lady with the MS walking now. But matter of fact, they denied her her disability because she was so muscular and looking good. But this is how it is, and I'd like to show you all a lot of befores and afters. And you're hearing a lot of you guys that are going through this, what you're going through, and how you're coming out on the other side. And I love that. It's just very powerful. And I haven't seen anything. I've seen things that just so awesome. You can't believe the body can re-straighten itself, grow tissue that wasn't there, grow tissue that was there but removed. I mean, it's fascinating. I don't know where the top of it is, which is kind of cool. And I think that everyone should be excited about that because these levels are fantastic for the Homo sapien race because before, man's pretty much in despair. There's no hope. Governments have gotten so corrupt and, you know, all the rich people run things. Well, just because you're rich doesn't mean you're smart. And that's obvious when you look at what's going on here in this country and some of these poor other countries that are suffering with financial problems. I love the fact that Greece, I think it was Greece, isn't it, that's getting rid of the euro dollar? That ought to be real interesting. I'm excited because countries have to go back to their own currencies, get rid of this World Bank dominance, and we're going to control everything, and we're going to run the markets, these egotistical son of a bitches. People always think they know better. This is forgiven. 1. I have seen many circulatory formulas that contain cayenne pepper, and he's asking about jalapenos. You know what? I'm not really into either one. I only use cayenne pepper simply to, and I'm very organic only. Very as low of heat units as I can get, 20,000, 25,000, just to do a little dilation, because I like it better than, let's say, niacin or niacinamide, because it has the the flavonoids and everything else for vascular strength. But too much pepper is going to irritate mucosa and create mucus. But you could do a slight bit of jalapeno, because they also have high flavonoids and stuff. I can't handle anything hot. I just can't handle anything hot. It's too hard on my body. I can't handle pungent things. Um, My daddy was cured of chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Just had a case in here yesterday. She shouldn't be too long getting hers cleaned up. Her white blood cells are not that high, and I'd rather see high white blood cells than low, dear ones. And then it came back. Well, of course it came back. And I love your emphasis on cured. I know when people go under chemo and stuff and then their diagnosis cured, I get the cringe, because it gives these poor people false hope that they're cured, and then it comes back. You know, this is the problem again, treating effects. And treating, I think that anybody that uses an acid to treat an acid condition either needs to lose their license or spend some time in the moose cow meditating on now not to hurt people, and have a little chemistry lesson there to caboot. The destruction of cells is not the answer to a destruction of cells. Whew. Took his life, and that's sad, boy. Took his life, weighed him down to 86 pounds. I mean, this is the bull crap that's going on out there. That's why we're so important of a YouTube site. And I hope YouTube doesn't get too upset, but this is a good trading site. YouTube should be proud that we're bringing forth a force of healing that this planet has not seen, and you guys are being part of that focus, so I love it. For those of you that just can't wrap your heads around it, my ego's not hurt if you go somewhere else and learn something, other things for a while. Those that have to chatter on with why, just zip it and listen. Pay attention. Some people talk too much and they can't hear because they're talking too much. Remember I told you old Fubi Kwanzaa, famous master, claimed to have lived 2,000 years in his physical body. Claimed, I don't know. But he once told me, looked right at me, and he said, if you stop thinking and stop talking, there's nothing you won't know. I thought, that's a good zen right there. Thank you. I know. Sad stuff here. These cases are sad stuff. Now, you're working on Hashimoto's, just low thyroid. Get a thyroid gland. You don't know if it's a pituitary, but still get a thyroid. I would do thyroid cytotrophin 1-3 times a day. Start with adrenal burnout. The same thing. When your glands are tired and burn out, so to speak, that's where the glandulars really make a big difference. They really do. They are really energetic forces to be dealt with. Arthritis, so you're systemically involved, lymphatically. Of course, your adrenals are down because they control the kidneys. The kidneys control the lymph system, which deals with the acids of the body and therefore the pain and arthritis. So you have to reverse that. You've got to realize that your lymph system, and now you got to go to your kidneys and your adrenals, get them cleaned up. Your adrenals are already down, admittedly, and so getting your lymph cleaned out, get these acids out, and go forth in that way. Had gallbladder removed and hysterectomy, so you know your lymph system is real bad, and it's backed up through this whole trunk here. And you got to clean that trunk out. You don't want to lose any more tissue in the body. You're burning yourself up there, KT. Or is that KIKL 642? Superman. Wow, I love it when you address my question. Oh, anytime. I'm trying to address all of your questions. A little difficult, but I'm I'm just trying to get what I consider the most important ones. And if I don't get them, and just remember this, if you're in pain and you're suffering, call Jennifer, call in here to Shannon or Drew, call in here, because even though we're pretty swamped, I don't care. If you're suffering, I can't get these out fast enough. And I don't want you to suffer too long. I don't want you to suffer at all, but especially the lady in pain here, Lori or whatever. You get these tumors out of here. Don't sit there and watch them. Get them out. Organic Superman, well, let's see here. So you are saying for good endurance, I shouldn't eat anything. Well, when you're eating, just remember, when you eat something, there's energy needed to digest, and that takes away energy to move. So you should never eat before you run, ever. I'll say this, though. If you're really on a big endurance run, if you had to stop every once in a while to water up, throw a little God's blend in it. You throw a little God's blend in it and you'll power yourself up big time, but not enough to create excessive digestion. And you'll power yourself up. Or even do a fruit juice. It'll power yourself up. Instead of a big swig of water, do a big swig of raw grape juice. Ought to kick you up. It's advisable to take adrenal herbs. Yeah, you can do that. You can pump up adrenal herbs. You might use the Ultimate Immune for a few months before. Remember the antler? Matter of fact, she just brought me our last remaining antler, and we only have so much liquid left. We found it back there, but that's pure antler. And good stuff, boy. And if you want to build your endurance up that way, I mean, there's so many cool ways in nature you can build yourself up. But if you detoxify first and remove a lot of these obstructions, because lymph ends up becoming a vascular obstructive issue, because remember the cholesterol and calcium as antacids. So once you remove these obstructions, you're now removing the resistance to the flow of energy. And by removing the resistance to the flow of energy, energy flows more freely. And then the more you're opening yourself up to the pure God conscious state, that's pure energy. Woof! So when you open all these doors, hang on. Good questions, you guys. Good questions. Dear Dr. Morris, thank you for talking about the adrenals. I've been worried lately because my BP is quite high. Well, again, blood pressure, high blood pressure, kidneys. The kidneys will push the systolic up, so don't worry about the systolic, worry about the diastolic. The other thing, just keep in mind, if you have a swinging blood pressure, it's back here at the medulla and cerebellum. And that's a lymphatic issue again, pressure and things like this, so get that moving out of there. And little energy. So they have high blood pressure and little energy. Why is that? Well, because it's the adrenals that control the kidneys. So the adrenals are always down when the kidneys are down. Always. Matter of fact, I see more adrenals down than I do kidneys. But the adrenals are always control of kidneys. So your blood pressure is high because you're losing your kidneys, and your energy's gone because the adrenals are the main issue. The glands are always the main issue because they control everything that goes on. Hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters that runs the nervous systems, those all are vital components to make anything happen, from heart pumping to breathing to everything. So it's important that glands be healthy and strong. I wish we knew more herbs. We know the berries. All the berries are good glandulars, so eat a lot of berries in your life. Blackberries, blueberries. I hope you like the discussion on foods. I could go a little deeper in that, but let's get that up. You won't probably see that till today sometime. I've told Chris you got to try to get them up there. I'm trying to stick to eating mainly fruit, but know that I have some real addictions, and without coffee I can hardly make it out of bed. Well, that just shows how low your adrenals are. It really does. When you have to have a stimulant like coffee to get your bowels to move, or you're to get energy, you know how weak your nervous system is. So that's where a glandular will really excel here for you. Adrenal 160s I would use maybe 2-3 times a day. You can go up from there, really pick those adrenals up and get into your kidneys and move lymph here. I don't want to go to the glandular route, really, but maybe I would have to consider it. Well, if you don't, then, pop with licorice, pop with our adrenal tincture, and try that first. You don't have to go to glandulars. Nothing wrong with them, though. All this crap about glandulars, everybody has an opinion. I've used them along with a lot of my fellow physicians. We've used them for years and years and years, and I've never seen one Not even one negative response. Too strong sometimes, have to back them way down. Oh, thank you. Listen, David, the marathoner, thanks for that comment. I love you too, bro. Thanks a lot. The staff appreciates all your comments, just like anybody else. You know, when you give people good praise, they perk up and give other people good praise. You know, the pass it on thing. So we really appreciate you guys, and we hope we all returning the favors here and helping you all to get yourself and your health straightened around here. There's too many people sick to see one-on-one anymore. That's why we need thousands of you guys. We must change the consciousness on this planet. Cool. Hi, Dr. Morris. Crazy about an interesting thing just happened to me. I had some apple. Yeah, I was reading this. Had some apple juice slash grape juice, and I hope it didn't have the apple seeds. You know, there's a lot of controversy over the cyanide in apple seeds. I will say this, I'm really not a seed person, although I've juiced seeds and all, but it could be your nervous system's just weak enough that either that much cyanide or that little much of cyanide, plus you don't know if you did have some pesticide residues if you didn't get your grapes washed well. You always must wash your foods, even organic foods, but you must use a veggie wash or get your hydrogen peroxide, lemon juice, and salt and wash them that way, because it sounds like, you know, some toxins were on these from what I've found. But I'm not sure this is the pesticide toxin. This could be cyanide. So I don't know. You know, it does sound like a toxic kick on that. Of course, you know, when you're dealing in the stomach area and you're dealing in the autonomic nervous system and you're dealing in inflammation or acidosis, sometimes when you drink some of these powerful juices and they hit the stomach, they're hitting the autonomic nervous system, basically. I can tell you, your stomach is tied right into that. And so that can immediately knock you out of breathing. It can immediately numb your head. I mean, there's so many things. I told you my journey, and it was not fun. But I did learn a lot. Can't say it was worth it, but okay, I'll say it was worth it. But boy, it took several years for me to get out of it, too. So you have to be real careful. You wash everything real good, and you do your best to get organic, but you still can't let that stop you. I definitely be careful about juicing too many seeds. Oh, thank you. This is from Greg. That was my grandfather's who raised me. My family's last name was Greg. Greg 4. Thank you for your wonderful work. Thank you. Allow me a quick question. You often talk about moving lymph and how you should see sediment in your urine. I'm now paying attention to my urine. I see white fluffy bits. Perfect. Sometimes long filaments. Perfect. At times there is so much of it that it creates a grayish opaque hue throughout the urine. Is that what you mean? Absolutely. Well, you're going to see all kinds of different hues from different chemicals in the body, that's for sure, and different metals. So you're going to see different colors. But yeah, those white flakes, like dandruff flakes, mucus threads, strands, absolutely. Good work on yourself. 28 years, ate an omnivorous diet. After becoming vegetarian, I noticed my socks. Now, this is interesting. Listen to this. You know, this is interesting. And you bring up a good point, you know, and sometimes I forget things because there's just so much to remember and to be out there. And then, you know, if you don't use your mind much, then you got to rely on you being able to access that information in a timely manner when you need it. And you can train your mind to go hunt. So, he said, after becoming vegetarian, now this is just becoming a vegetarian, I noticed my socks were stained with orange gunk. When I took my shoes off in the evening, I think I was detoxifying the sulfur dioxide. See, and I keep forgetting about sulfur dioxide even. Keep forgetting about that. Sulfur dioxide is used as a preservative in meat. A few weeks after I quit coffee and cheese, I became ill. I had to vomit. I didn't vomit any food, but just bile. When I looked at the bile closely, I noticed it was full of the same little white filaments. What is that? There's a healing crisis. Yeah, it's your body cleaning and expectorating. Exactly, and you can do that. If you're real toxic in the liver or in the stomach, chances of you throwing up is possible. So you just can't. You just keep digging in, digging in, digging in. Dr. Christopher used to say, you know, if you throw up on herbs, that just makes room for more. But you just want to keep going and keep cleaning and going down that route. Because that throw up sounded like it was definitely a healing Christ type, and it sounds like you're starting to open this up. But boy, and he said, when I look in my eyes today, I see an orange ring around both pupils. That's sulfur. Definitely. You guys are learning what it took me 40 years to learn, so we can grow from here, but that is definitely sulfur. You can smell it, you can see it, and it comes out, yeah, feet, hands. It can ooze out your skin, definitely in the urine if it's in the lymph nodes, and then, of course, out the stool. This is